Jamie, excited to be back here with you talking about some of the people reaching out to us and what profile they have. Today, I think it'd be really good if you could give kind of an overview of the people who have maybe inherited. They've had a big windfall into their life, whether it was through a relative or a friend, but there's been some sort of inheritance picture, and maybe you could speak a little bit about who they are in our experience and when these people are reaching out to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are obviously people residing in the US who inherit money and reach out to us, but I think it makes more sense maybe talking about the people in Europe or Switzerland that inherit money and have a US passport and realize now that they have some more substantial amount of wealth, that being a US taxpayer makes banking more complicated. So I think it's not just people inheriting money, but it's also expats living in Switzerland, for example, that have a US connection, have built up some wealth. Oftentimes those people are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and they are suddenly confronted with this responsibility, because wealth is also responsibility, and the burden of like having a US passport, because in a financial setting, unfortunately, that is a little bit of a burden because it limits your partners who you can work together with. And so we have been lucky enough over the past few years to help quite a few people who were in that situation. And I think it's always nice for us to be able to help someone who doesn't really know where to go to and doesn't really know who to work with. And if you are a US person and you have a US connection and you have either accumulated some wealth as an expat or you have inherited some money, then we are very happy to talk to you and see how we either might be able to help you or also point you in the right direction. Because if you inherit money, there's also tax considerations, there's financial planning considerations, and we don't offer all those services in-house. But I think it's always helpful for those people to know that there are companies that are specialized in working with US persons.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think on the inheritance side of things, it's so diverse in who's actually inheriting. It might be someone in their 70s who inherits, even though they're themselves maybe retired. And it could be, a very young person, someone middle of their life. And as you mentioned, maybe they had a U.S. connection, but they grew up in Europe somewhere. And it could be the other way around, where they were a U.S. person, they inherit something in Switzerland, and then now they need help trying to navigate the complex nature of cross border, and so yeah, I think it is one of the very satisfying, I guess, areas to really help people navigate through for that peace of mind, because sometimes inheritance, and I think more often than not, can be quite stressful. There's a lot of emotions now, and there's a lot of money coming in. You don't know what to do with it, and there's this kind of feeling of unprepared, and being able to have the right partner to come to is super valuable. And I think for us and our team, that's something we really enjoy, being able to help people through and educate them. I mean, it's why we even started social media, was trying to help people understand what the options are, and that there are people there that can help them.
Absolutely. I mean, you living as a US person in Switzerland also know firsthand what it takes to
Yeah.
set up a bank account in Switzerland,
Yeah.
and how important it is to get in touch with the right people, so it
Yeah.
will be a smooth experience and you're not going to make any mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Jamie. Looking forward to this next one.